Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Top Row. Whoa. No, we're not on a wrestling podcast, Gary. We're on the Winding Road podcast. I didn't actually mean to screw that up, but that's why I clicked on here, was to kind of talk about how darn busy that I've been lately, but how it is a good busy. How I am not tired, how I'm just like, let's keep going. I'm making sure I'm getting the proper amount of rest, and I'm just doing a whole bunch of different stuff. I want to talk to you about my experience with the eclipse. Hopefully it's not freaking July by the time that I post this, and you'll be like, what the heck? The eclipse was so long ago. Why are you talking about the eclipse now? Well, that's how much I got going on. I'm like, I record these things, but I get behind on them. It is what it is, friends. Because, yeah, I've been doing my wrestling podcast, involved with a wrestling show, creative team, producing some wrestling content now, which has just been an absolute dream come true for me as a kid. With my wrestling figurines, I would make notebooks full, legitimate storylines. As 10, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old kid making these storylines. You know, I was a writer back then. I just didn't even realize it. Making those storylines. I had a stuffed animal I used to wrestle around with. I would pretend that I was wrestling against kids from my school. I would make all kinds of different storylines with them as well. So this stuff has been in me since a kid. So the fact that I'm getting to do that in real life now and be a part of that is awesome. And it's just I don't want to jinx anything here, but it's more greater than I would ever thought too, because these people that I'm working with are just like that. After our first meeting the other day, man, I was just blown away how everybody just has such great ideals, and how there's no sense of any egos at all in the room, and everybody just wants to make it grow, make it into something great. And that is so beautiful when you can get that to happen. So beautiful when you can get that to happen, and everybody's on the same page, and everybody's working towards one common goal, man. Like, so thankful for that. And it really is about the things are going to be as great as they possibly can. And if it's from a team aspect, it does come down to everybody, throwing their egos out. And I tried, obviously, you know me, I try not to even have one, but we all do, because we're all humans. But throw that shit out the window, man, and let's make something great here. And that's happening with that project. That was one of the things over the past few days. It was like, all right, Friday night, worked, had to watch SmackDown, get ready for WrestleMania. Saturday, worked all day long, watched WrestleMania Night 1 on replay. Those things don't start till like midnight. Watched that. Watched the press conference after. Talked to my buddy about it for 45 minutes, because I'm a huge wrestling fan. Probably my number one entertainment passion for sure. Absolutely my number one recreation passion, disc golf. Those are my two main jams, man, besides loving and inspiring and uniting. But I do that through these things. That's what we have to do, is figure out what do we love? What do we love, and how do we love and inspire and unite people through the things that we do? And it's finding things that are important to us and figuring out ways to do that. It could be anything. It's not necessarily, it's like, oh, hey, I'm involved in this, and this is cool, and this is the way, people should go about doing it. No, everybody's got to figure out their own thing, their own, whatever they're into, and figuring out the small integral details, looking people in the eyes, saying how much you appreciate them, figure out how to work together as teams on different things to make things as the best they possibly can. And it's those little fine integral details within those things, I always talk about microcosm and all that, but the little the little things that are in the big things, you know, and if we focus on those, not the bullshit little things, not the little things that are negative that we turn into something and make it blow it out of proportion, not those things. We focus on the beautiful little small things, and that's how you make the sum of the whole thing go. You know, it's measured by the sum of its parts, as they say, paraphrasing that cliche saying or whatever, but everything is nothing is greater than the sum of its parts. And so so Saturday stayed up till 6:30 a.m. and then Sunday a little bit of time to rest. Got WrestleMania Sunday night. You know, I'm posting all these shows, Top Rope Podcast, underneath my playlist here on YouTube, Top Rope Podcast on TikTok, if you're interested in professional wrestling sports entertainment. Sunday night was WrestleMania. Monday we had the Eclipse. I'm about to get to my story with the Eclipse just in a moment. I do a disc golf league as well that I run. We have different championships for that. So played for the main championship after the Eclipse. And we do the handicaps, you know, so everybody's got a fair shot to get that done. And it's like, oh, after everything has gone on, this crazy, crazy few days that have just been a beautiful, chaotic bliss. Oh, you're in a playoff. And the 3-hole playoffs. And man, I did such a great job of that. -7. Did such a great job of, person keeping scores, like saying the score, saying where everybody's at. But like I necessarily didn't. I didn't want to hear that because it goes back to just focusing on the task that's at hand, and that's making the best shots that you can. And this is parallel. I've talked about it before. Of anything that you do in life, it's focusing on that task at hand, and the sum of all those parts will take care of itself if you just focus on each individual part and what you are doing in that moment to succeed. Then the goal will be reached. And if it's not and you fail, then you just keep going and you keep going and you keep going and you keep trying to get better at it. But man, I shit the bed. I shit the bed in the playoff. I had two short putts to win it on the first one. It was counting my chickens before they hatched, because right before I shot it, I imagined it going in and how I was going to feel whenever it went in. And winning that championship, I knew I was just a second away from that feeling, but I focused on that feeling of the accomplishment before it happened. You can't do that. What happened? I missed the putt. And the next one, I don't know, nerves, I guess, got the best of me, and I wasn't able to drown out the noise in that moment. I didn't treat it as just the task at hand. Again, I'm like focusing on I'm in my mind, I'm like on the bigger goal of like, oh God, I gotta make this. I might lose, I might not win. Things you cannot focus on. I do a pretty good job overall of not doing that, but in those moments, it happened. I was able to pull it out on the third one. I'm like, so it came down to not giving up. I could have been so irritated, so upset that I did not make those first 2 putts. And I could have pissed away the whole thing, but I'm still in it. I was still in it. I failed, but I was still in it. And I was able to overcome those failures, and it's just such an important thing to do in that moment, such an important thing to do in life. Let's talk about the Eclipse, though, for a second. So, 2017, basically everywhere else in the area got to see totality in its fullest glory, but not your boy, not me. I was outside downtown. One little small cloud came right over at totality. So as cool as it was then, I didn't get to see it in its full glory, and I've been waiting 7 years. 7 years to see it in its full glory. I was watching the weather forecast. Ooh, getting a little cold here on the winding road. Let's turn off the AC. Waited 7 years. And I was thinking that day as it's happened, I'm like, wow, it is really crazy to think. And I didn't really think that leading up. I was just excited about it and, cautiously optimistic because I didn't want to miss it again. So I didn't want to get my hopes way up too high. But they were pretty high. But then the day comes like, wow, that's crazy to think that we're already here 7 years later now. 7 years later. Like it was one of those deals where it's like, wow, I can't believe so much time has already passed and we're already back to this moment now. And I was like, this time, as cool as it was last time, we missed it. I was like, well, if I miss it again, I'm at least going to be out in the country this time so I can hear the nature of it. Because the first time it was like, oh, cool, street light came on, cool. Which it was kind of cool, but this time I was like, man, I got to be out in the middle of the country. I got to be out in the middle of the country so I can hear the birds like wondering what the heck's going on, and then the crickets chirping and everything like that. And it was crazy leading up to it. I was checking it out here and there with my eclipse glasses, but we were, doing other stuff, messing around, talking to people. And that was all fine and dandy when the eclipse it happened. Like there's a bunch of people in lawn chairs behind me. It's like, all right, man. I was like, I hope nobody freaking talks during this thing. Like, I'm gonna be a little bit away from that because I just want to appreciate it and feel that awness, and like just listen to that inner still voice in me and appreciate the wonder and the glory of the cosmos, of the heaven, of God, of the more. And I got it for the most part. For the most part, totality comes, take off the glasses right whenever it's happening. Not a cloud in the sky. Thank you, Lord. Praise God. Because it was rainy the day before. Now, the day after, it was raining today and clouds pretty much everywhere, but not on the eclipse day part. It was not a cloud in the sky, man. And it happened so quick once it got close to totality, and then totality happens, and man, and I'll never forget looking up and seeing that. It's so magical. And I'd said before, if I missed totality this time, that I was going to be a freaking eclipse chaser. And I thought it was in Brazil in 2028. I know the next one in the U.S. is not till 2044. I guess there's a couple here and there between then. I don't know if they're necessarily at places that would be ideal to go to. But I think, 2028 Spain. And then, like, even now I'm thinking, man, like, if I get the chance, I want to go try to see another one, because there was a little bit more to be desired, which is great as it was. And then, man, just, and being a big disc golf fan, me and my brother, we had to light up a glow disc and throw. A part of me didn't want to do it because I just wanted to stare at it the whole time during totality. But I took like 10, 15 seconds there to throw one disc. We were trying to get an ace during a glow ace with the glow disc, with the UV light glowing our disc during totality. My brother parked his. Mine, if it would have skipped, it might have had a chance to going in, but it ended up about 15 short. So I'll never forget that, throwing that glow disc during totality, and watching it come in, and how the darkness got there. And I wish people would have been a little bit less talky during it, but I can certainly understand it for sure, being amazed by it. But I did kind of try to get a little bit farther away from that, because I did want that complete silence, and I didn't get that, so there was a little bit left to be desired. So I don't know if that's why now I'm wanting to still go see the next one wherever it is. I just think they're absolutely incredible, man. And thinking about how back in the day, where we didn't know what these things were, and we didn't know when they were coming. Yeah, and more importantly, we didn't know what they were. So I had to imagine that, whenever people are seeing this stuff back in the day, they probably did think it was the end of the world. Like, oh my God, the sun. No, did they even know that it was the moon that was actually blocking the sun? Or did they think it was just the sun going bye-bye? I don't know. Had to have been absolutely nuts. Absolutely crazy for them. People back in the day not even knowing what stars were. So nuts to even think about, and being here right now on this day, and knowing a lot of the stuff that we know about now with all the telescopes and Hubble, James Webb, all that stuff, and all the stuff we're exploring, and we're figuring out the consciousness thing more and more and more and more and more. Yet it's still such a great mystery. And it's just so mind-blowing that we're able now to think about this stuff such in more detail. But I wonder back in the day, what they were thinking about it all. And people had different theories on what this stuff was and everything. And now we're able to see some of it, and then we have different, we're able to kind of know what it is now. and then theorizing like how it all came to be and everything. It's so freaking cool, man. So magical. And yeah, just being able to live in the eternal now every day, you know, good, bad, indifferent. Like, it's just all such a blessing, and it is by God's grace. However, whoever you think God is, however we got here, all that stuff, yada yada. Yeah, it's freaking magical, man. It's freaking magical. And one of the coolest things about, and I'm glad somebody was kind of talking during the middle of that, and they had mentioned it before, but I had forgot to look at it. I was so entranced by totality and looking up at the moon blocking the sun during totality that I almost forgot. And somebody mentioned, oh, look at the 360-degree sunset. Oh, that was so cool. So freaking cool. But man, it was like a totality of like 4 minutes and something, which is a pretty damn long time. I think the greatest totality that could be is like 7 minutes and something. Well, we got like over half of that. And then, like I said, not a cloud in the sky, so it was so great. But the 360-degree sunset was cool, and the Bailey's beads and the diamond ring effect. I noticed it going in, but I noticed it even more coming out, and I probably did a no. I can still see today. I'm driving just fine along the winding road. Maybe my eyesight gets bad because of it when I'm a little bit older. I'm blessed to live that long, but this body goes that long. But yep, coming out of it, I'm not going to lie to you. I stared at it for about 10, 15 seconds until it got too bright where I couldn't. But it was crazy watching totality turn back into a partial eclipse. And, you know, but I did, as great as it was, I felt like it was something a little left to be desired afterwards. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go get away from everybody, and I'm gonna watch it now, watch the rest of the eclipse, you know, watch that moon go all the way across the sun again, just stare at it with my glasses the entire time. And I'm up there and I'm doing that. I took off my shoes. I was doing the grounding, had my feet on the earth. I put my hands on the earth and just laying there, you know, just listening to that inner voice and just being blown away by all of it, and just watching it do its fullest glory. And then I had my nephew come up, and towards the end of that, and we shared a moment together, just laying there trading. You know, he didn't bring his pair of glasses all the way out to where I was. He's like, "Where'd you go? I was looking for you." I was like, "Oh man, I'm here." And I told him what I was doing. And I was like, "It's still going, buddy." And you know, so we were able to trade glasses back and forth and watch it, and then just such a magical moment. So with whatever was left to be desired, you know, from a little bit of chatter during it, I feel like it made up for it with the moment I was able to have by myself, and then with him, you know, but just being a little kid and being able to share with him, that moment was just magical. It was just absolutely magical, and watching it, and you know, how it kind of looked like it's going out of, it's almost away from the sun, you know, the moon's back going, you know, the eclipse is just about over, and how just at the very top kind of looked like a little, I don't know, like a little like jar or something with the opening at the top. Was just freaking sweet, man. And then a guy come up asking for directions back to town, and you know, sharing a moment with him and just talking about things of greater significance, you know. And I don't even know how it happened. We got on the subject, but I'm talking to my nephew, you know, and I don't know, said something about, you know, I don't want to die. And I'm like, "Oh, buddy," I was like, "Death is," you know, I was like, "It's probably not even a real thing, buddy." I was like, your body's just going away, buddy. It's just, we're going to go back to the spiritual world. It's going to be all good." He's like, "Oh, cool," you know. And I guess that guy who I had been asking for directions, he was still sitting over there looking at his map. So he heard that. So he comes back up to it, and he's like, comes up to me and says, "You know, you're speaking the truth," you know, and that was a beautiful thing to hear. So I think that did a little something for his soul, and just talking to him about different stuff, you know. And he's like, "Oh, and one more thing," he's like, "You're probably gonna think I'm crazy." I say, "That's okay, man. I'm crazy too, man. It's all good. You know, his jacket was cool, and my little nephew's commenting on his jacket, had a bunch of patches everywhere, and he's like, "Oh, just one more thing, man. Look into that flat Earth, man. I think the Earth is flat." And yeah, not judging. I'm like, okay, you know, he's telling me something. Like, "All right, I'll check it out." You know, I don't necessarily believe it, but you know, Anything's possible. So I was like, cool. Well, it was just kind of funny though that he said that. It was like, yeah, it was just such a magical moment, such a magical day, and then playing for the disc golf championship after that. Man, the eclipse. Oh, wow. I hope that gets mixed into dreamland. That moment of staring up there at that eclipse, man. Hope I'm able to dream about that and relive that moment, and and have it do something else for me in dreamland. That would be key. That would be totally key. All right, that's about all. See ya. Good day. Went by my turn. Going to work out. Went by my turn. But that's all right. No, I didn't. I didn't miss the turn. I'm here. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining me today on the Winding Road Podcast. That's not the order. I'm me, you're you, but we are each other. And what are we here to do, in my humble opinion? Love, inspire, unite. God bless.